What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Inkslasher, and today we're going to be talking about the fact that there's probably only going to be 10 maps in the multiplayer of Call of Duty WW2. In fact, one of these maps is only going to be for Season Pass holders, called Quarantaine. So the maps that we already know are in the game because we played them in the beta include Gibraltar, Ardennes Forest, Ashen, and finally Pointe du Hoc. Now, another map that we've seen is called Flak Tower. This is one that they played a competitive match at, I believe it was Gamescom on, and we've seen a little bit of gameplay from this as well. There's another one called Gustav Cannon, which is assumably the map where the person takes the sniper shot in the original multiplayer trailer. And then there is the USS Texas. This is the one I've been talking about for a while. It looks like it's going to be taking place on a battleship. We were able to see this once again in the original multiplayer trailer where the strafe run goes over top of it. There's another one called London Docks. This is, I believe, Michael Condrey tweeted out this picture a couple weeks ago, and this is what it's supposedly going to look like. And then we have Sainte Marie du Mont, which is the final map that we have no information from as of yet. However, if you know what Sainte Marie du Mont is, it's an area close to Normandy, which is a commune with a giant church, and assumably that's probably going to be the centerpiece of the map. But that's all we know of it as of right now. And then on top of that, we have the Season Pass map, the Quarantaine. This one we've known about for a while, but as like said earlier today, we got this trailer showing off what the map is going to look like. Now, as we know, normally when a Call of Duty game is released, on average, it has about 13 maps at release. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less, but on average, it's about 13. So to have 9 and then 1 bonus map is actually pretty low. Now, the one thing we do have to remember is on top of these maps, we are also getting 3 different war maps. We are getting the Operation Breakout, the one that we've already played, Operation Neptune, which is going to be the invasion of Normandy, and finally Operation Griffin, which I actually have no idea what that one is as of yet, but soon we will find out, coming out on Friday. So in total, we are getting 13 maps. They're just spread out between one DLC / Season Pass holder map and 3 different war maps. So it's a little bit different. However, there are 13 maps. However, the big argument that I'm seeing a ton of YouTubers make, and I hate to tell you, but I actually think it's wrong, is that when this game was being data mined during the PC beta, there was 3 additional maps found. One of which was called Paris, one of which was called the Wolf's Lair, and the final map was called U-Turn, which would bring the total multiplayer map count up to 13. In fact, what makes it even more odd is that earlier, Michael Condrey actually had a tweet dedicated to talking about the Wolf's Lair as a map. So up until today, I agreed with most YouTubers saying that these maps were going to be in the game at release. However, I actually think that's wrong. And here's the reason. So as I mentioned earlier, there was a new trailer to come out for Call of Duty WW2 today, centered around Quarantaine, which is the Season Pass holder map that only the Season Pass holders get. Also, at the end of this trailer, they also announced DLC 1, which it seems retardedly early to announce DLC 1. However, the reason for doing so is that they announced this at Paris Games Week. Now, this DLC 1 is going to be called Resistance, hence the French Resistance, hence why they announced it at Paris Games Week. Now, other than announcing that DLC 1 was going to come out on January 30th, they didn't give us much information other than that, except for this map that we're looking at right here. Now, as we can tell by what they're showing us here, it looks like we're going to be getting 3 multiplayer maps that take place in France, Czechoslovakia, and Poland. On top of that, if you look at the kind of navy symbol up above France, you can see that that's probably going to be the new war map coming out with DLC 1, and way up to the north above Germany, that looks like where the zombies map is going to take place. At least that's what I'm expecting based on what we've normally received through DLC. Now, what gets really interesting is if you cross-reference the names for the data mined maps that we talked about that we thought were originally going to be in the release of Call of Duty WW2 with the DLC 1 map. The first map is called Paris. As we know, Paris is in France, hence the first DLC map. Now, the second map that we talked about was called the Wolf's Lair. Now, this was actually a code name back in World War II for one of Hitler's Eastern Front military headquarters, which guess where that took place? In Poland, hence the second map. The third map is called U-Turn. Now, this one I had to do a little bit more digging on and doesn't quite make as much sense, but U-Turn is generally a term used for throwing over communism. This actually took place and is entitled as the U-Turn, but it didn't take place in Czechoslovakia until 1989, which is obviously way after World War II, but that's really the only reference I could come up with U-Turn and Czechoslovakia. So based off of this, maybe the maps that were data mined in the PC beta aren't actually the maps that are going to come out with the release of the game. They're the maps that are going to come out with DLC 1. Is that odd? Yeah, it's a little bit odd, but it makes sense based on all of the information they've given us for the Resistance DLC. So if I was a betting man, and I am, I would guess that the amount of maps in the multiplayer at release is going to be 9 plus Carrington and then the 3 war maps. These other 3 maps are actually going to be the first 3 maps to come out in DLC 1. But if you disagree with me or are mad about this or don't think it's that so big of a deal, let me know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, it took a lot of research, so it would be very greatly appreciated if you could hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel and want to stay up to date on everything Call of Duty World War II, be sure to stay subscribed to the channel. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.